Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to our English News Edition, coming to you from Canal, Algérie. To the headlines. A crushing victory for Algeria at the United Nations as the Algerian candidate, Ambassador Al-Arbi Jakta, is brilliantly re-elected to the chairmanship of the UN International Civil Service Commission against the Moroccan candidate Al-Hassan Zahid with a large difference, a result that reflected tireless efforts by the Algerian diplomatic apparatus. We also talk in this bulletin about the Algerian-Qatari strategic partnership, the example being the new Algerian-Qatari German hospital officially launched during the Arab Summit in Algiers. The Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, takes part this Friday in the proceedings of the 43rd Ordinary Session of the Council of Ministers of the African Petroleum Producers Organization with different topics on the agenda. An unprecedented socio-economic crisis in Morocco and social discontent is not faltering. More and more citizens are taken to the streets to denounce once again the unbearable situation. Good evening, those were today's headlines. We begin our news with this crushing victory of Algeria at the United Nations. The Algerian ambassador Al-Arbi Jakta was rightfully elected as chairman of the United Nations International Civil Service Commission against the Moroccan candidate Al-Hassan Zahid, a result that was the fruit of tireless efforts by the Algerian diplomatic apparatus. The election process took place on Friday, November 4th at the plenary level of the 5th Committee, where Algeria beat Morocco by a score that surpassed 120 votes, whereas Morocco scored only 64 votes, a result that was the fruit of tireless efforts by the Algerian diplomatic apparatus, and in particular on the occasion of the last session of the General Assembly of the United Nations in New York. The re-election of Al-Arbi Jakta at the head of this commission is undoubtedly a recognition of the excellent work that has been carried out during his first term and confirms the return of Algerian diplomacy led by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, on the international scene. It should be recalled that the International Civil Service Commission is an independent expert body established by the United Nations General Assembly in 1974 to uphold and maintain high standards in the civil service, while balancing the needs and concerns of member states and key stakeholders. It is by excellence the body that ensures to the entire United Nations systems and the staff of the Secretariat of the United Nations to carry out their tasks and to guarantee the exemplary functioning of this international organization. This year's elections, which put the two candidates from Algeria and Morocco against each other respectively, are of a particular importance. This is in fact the second consecutive confrontation after that of November 2018, where Ambassador Jakta was elected in extremis by 4 votes difference, 97 votes against 93 for the same Moroccan candidate. This overwhelming score that doubled this time simply speaks for itself. On to the Algerian-Qatari partnerships. The latest example of these bilateral fruitful partnerships is the Algerian-Qatari German hospital, a project that was officially launched during the Arab Summit in Algiers in accordance with the instructions of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, during the last Council of Ministers. Rania Al-Bahri tells us more.
After choosing the site and the land base, the project managers of the Algerian-Qatari German hospital took up the challenge in order to begin the works in a record time. In 48 hours, we updated the technical studies. We also put in place all the material and human resources to deliver the project on time. All the resources have been put in place. We have dispatched the works on 3 groups. We have 8 workshops here on site. We recruited 2 teams who take turns every 8 hours. Our mission consists of developing green spaces. Development work has been undertaken at the level of the entire land base, which is spread over 10 hectares. The pipeline of the valley extends over 600 meters. and the sanitation works over 400 meters, in addition to 1.8 kilometers of two-way lane. We also have 2 medium and low voltage power lines, in addition to drinking water pipeline over 600 meters. A major investment that will create direct and indirect employment, wealth and added value in the region. An important health complex bringing together specialized skills, which will be an added value to the Algerian health system. This project will strengthen the ties of brotherhood between the two brotherly countries. I hope that this project will bring more to our country and to Algeria. This hospital will have a capacity of 400 beds equipped with state-of-art equipment that will be able to provide clinical, medical and surgical care. With a capacity of 400 beds, the Algerian Qatari German high-level hospital will be implemented in the region of Sidi Abdallah in Algiers and will be completed in the next 2 years.
And now to energy, where the Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, took part on Friday in the proceedings of the 43rd Ordinary Session of the Council of Ministers of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, and this was via video conference. The meeting, during which the APPO Council of Ministers discussed the committee's practical recommendations, APPO's long-term strategy, as well as the future of the oil and gas industry in Africa, the election of the President and Vice President of the APPO for the year 2023, and other organizational matters were also on the agenda. Oil prices are bouncing back. They are at their highest in nearly a month, taking advantage of the tightening of supply that is looming as market speculation around the potential easing of the zero-COVID policy in China. The barrel of Brent from the North Sea for delivery next January is $97.31. As for the barrel of the US WTI for delivery next month is at $91.02. Analysts say that the market is watching for the slightest sign of China's zero-COVID policy loosening. The speculation about the easing has been strengthening over the past week, enough to boost demand within the world's largest importer of crude. A digital platform that grants access to Algeria's subsurface data was launched, as was announced by the National Agency for the Valorization of Hydrocarbon Resources. It is an unprecedented opportunity in the history of the Algerian energy market that will allow investors to exploit new fields. Details with Manal Ammari.
Algeria presented its fully integrated digital platform at the Oil Fair ADIPEC 2022, which was developed by a technology solution company specialized in the energy sector to enable a seamless global access to all of Algeria's surface data and sustainable products. It is an important fair that comes at a time where the energy issue is vital, since Algeria became an important key player, particularly for Europe. Algeria has always been a pioneer in the hydrocarbon sector, which is a promising market, and was able to adapt with the global market's development. It should be noted that 25 to 30% of the competences in the UAE are Algerians. Algeria is a major player in the oil sector and is part of the most important oil and gas producers. According to the National Agency for the Valorization of Hydrocarbon Resources, the Exalt platform is an opportunity for the Algerian energy market to demonstrate the value of national opportunities and to promote Algeria's hydrocarbon resources, including to future call for tenders. The gas and oil market has a promising future, especially in the current situation. This will allow us to export to Europe. The Exalt platform was created in accordance with the new Law 1913, which regulates the hydrocarbon activities and encourages international partners in this sector through the introduction of a simplified and competitive tax system. This law also aims to valorize the national wealth, considering that 60% of the Algerian hydrocarbon potential is under or non-exploited and needs to be developed.
Botswana reiterates its attachment to the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination and to independence, and this through its foreign minister Lebokon Kouabe. A statement made during the celebration of the United Nations Day, the leader of Botswana's diplomacy affirmed that his country has always pleaded in favor of countries' rights to self-determination, starting with the Sahrawi and Palestinian peoples. Social discontent in Morocco did not falter. More and more citizens are taken to the streets to denounce once again the increase in prices, unemployment rates, as well as never-ending injustice. Details with Manal Ammari.
Anger and outrage have reached their peak in Morocco due to the degradation of the people's purchasing power, the high living costs, unemployment, injustice, as well as precariousness that is pushing Moroccans to take to the streets and denounce this unbearable situation. It is a shame. They increased gas and cooking oil prices. They will ruin our country and our children's lives. We are tired and harmed. Unlike us, government workers are paid high wages. Despite of their cries for help, the Moroccan people's situation continues to deteriorate. The Makhzen is held accountable for the deterioration of the social and economic situation in their country.
بزاف كاع الشعب ضر بزاف وحشومه هادشي اللي دارينا اخنوش بزاف زاد في الاول وفي الثاني والمازوت.
The people are extremely hard by Akhanoush's actions, due to which oil prices increased, and now they will increase gas prices. This is more than we can handle. The people are terribly affected. If this situation goes on, then it will be met with a disaster.
راه زعما والزيت ولا اله الا الله محمد رسول الله راه بزاف علينا هذا الشيء وراه الشعب تضر وراه لا بقى هذا الشيء غادي ويتزاد فيه راه غتنوض شي كارثه.
Moroccans are living through an unprecedented economic and social crisis, with more and more protests organized each day, since Moroccans are committed to their fight for dignity, condemning what they call an act of contempt towards the legitimate grievances of a people infringed in their most basic rights.
As a result of a reckless and risky policy of the Makhzen regime that continues to ignore the demand of its people, the country finds itself today facing an unprecedented economic crisis. Rania al-Bahri again.
The marginalized inhabitants of Fes in Morocco expressed their fed up against the humiliation and aggression that became a part of their daily life. The Moroccans can no longer support the arbitrary of this repressive regime, who have imprisoned them for several years.
وصلنا لشي درجة ديال الصبر اللي ما بقينا فيه نزيدو نصبروا حتى الصبر منا وبركة من الغلا وبركة من الغلا وبركة من الغلا وبركة من الغلا.
This catastrophic situation plunged them into a deep crisis. Moroccans took to the streets every day to carry out their distress and claim their most basic rights, which is a decent life.
كيف تعيش يا مسكين كيف تعيش يا مسكين المعيشة دارت جنحين المعيشة دارت جنحين المعيشة دارت جنحين المعيشة دارت جنحين.
Several demonstrations have been registered across several Moroccan cities, which have focused in particular on the denunciation of the policies carried out by the regime of the Makhzen. a policy which has only proved once again its inability to ensure a decent life for Moroccans, marked by the rise in the prices of basic necessities. In continuing their demonstrations and sit-ins, Moroccans are showing unfailing determination in the hope of putting an end to a situation that has become unbearable.
In Palestine, the attacks of the Zionist occupation continue, causing deaths and injuries. The yards of Al-Aqsa Mosque are still the target of these attacks. The occupier forces allow the settlers to invade these holy places and intensify their repressive measures. More details with Anya Al-Bahri.
Not a day passes without murders and assaults in Palestine committed by the Zionist occupier, as well as the expansion of its lands. According to the Palestinian press agency Wafa, a group of settlers attacked Palestinians on the outskirts of Madama village south of Nablus. According to the same source, dozens of settlers heavily protected by the Zionist forces stormed the yards of Al-Aqsa Mosque on the side of the Maghreb Gate. The news agency said that dozens of settlers stormed the Aqsa Mosque and made provocative assaults and Talmudic rituals. According to a statement issued by the Palestinian Health Ministry, 4 Palestinians were killed by the Zionist occupation forces in Jenin, whereas in the West Bank and the occupied Al-Quds, 2 martyrs were shot by the occupation forces and 4 people were injured. The struggle of the Palestinian people cannot be stopped until it reached its sacred and legitimate rights.
German tourists arrived in Algeria to discover the beauty and generosity of the country and its people. Manal Ammari again.
Over 400 German tourists arrived at the port of Algiers on Friday, with the El Hama Botanic Garden as their first stop, before heading to the Notre-Dame d'Afrique church. I came on a cruise boat today, and now we're discovering Algeria. We have seen incredible views already, namely the Jardin d'Essai, which was magnificent. These tourists were fascinated by Algeria's splendor and beauty, as well as the Algerian people's hospitality and generosity. The Algerian people are very welcoming and kind. We feel at home here. There is a wonderful atmosphere in Algeria. The families here are welcoming and generous. I hope that I will be able to come back soon because I would like to stay longer. At the end of a busy day full of beautiful memories, these tourists will head to their next destination, the beautiful Yemaguraya mountain.
And with these beautiful images, our news edition comes to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day.